5 things I wish I knew before learning kettlebell squats that would allow me to learn them quicker and learn them safer. Today I'm going to share with you what those 5 things are that I wish I knew so you can know them and you can shorten your learning curve, do them safer, start doing kettlebell squats the right way. Let's jump right into it. First one is ab activation and contraction. I did not realize how much you need to contract your core and brace your abs when you're doing a kettlebell squat. That has to do with a goblet squat or one arm squat. Abs have to be braced, really tense and contracted. Or if you're even doing double, especially if you're doing double kettlebell front squats, you need to have your abs core braced, because if you don't, your lower back's going to be vulnerable. You can risk injury there. So abs engaged, abs contracted, nice and tight. It's going to get you stronger abs as well. Second one is the knee positioning, your knee positioning. So when I started first doing kettlebell squats, I would put my feet straight out. My knees were straight forward, okay? Bodybuilding style squatting, straight forward. You're trying to isolate the quads, all that stuff. But with a kettlebell goblet squat or a kettlebell front squat or a double front squat, you want your feet slightly pointed out. What that does is it opens up your hips. You want your knees tracking your toes. You want your knees tracking your toes, but also right over your ankles. So as your hips come out, as your knees come out, your hips open up. Whereas if they're slightly turned in, it's just a slight difference, but it makes all the difference. Your hips are locked in. They can't open up like they're supposed to. Your hips can't go into that full range of motion when your feet are slightly turned out, just like that, right? That's how the squat should be. It shouldn't be straightforward like this, because then your hips, like I said, are going to be tight. And what that's going to cause your knee, I can already feel right here on my knee, outside of my knee, it's going to be more stress on the knee than you need to. No, the focus should be hips, glutes. That's how the squat should be. Your knees are just opening up. The power is, you send the power to your glutes, your quads, your legs, and you power it up. But that's only if you slightly turn your feet out about 10, 15 degrees. That slight change makes all the difference. I wish I knew that before I started. All right, and then speaking of step 3, after you set up here, you want to make sure you're pulling yourself down into position, okay? So a lot of times, what I used to do when I was squatting, I wouldn't really pull down. I would drop into it and then just power up. I was trying to, just do the reps, 8 to 12 reps, hypertrophy range squatting. But what I learned is when you're doing a kettlebell goblet squat or front squat or double front squat, you want to pull yourself down into it. You want to control it down. So it's almost like you're pulling down with your legs into the squat. Okay, as you do it, so it looks like this. You pull down, again, knees pointing out, and you press the ground away. So it's pull and then press the ground away. Okay, so you want to focus on that movement. It's not just a drop, because what happens when you do the drop is something's going to have to take that acceleration has to stop somewhere. Usually it goes to your lower back or your knees. So if you just drop and then you're trying to come up, and speaking of that, at the bottom, that leads me to step 4. If you drop and you're just trying to power it up, and you're just kind of doing just fast squats, it's hard to keep your knees outward. So generally you come in, you bow them in, squat, bow them in, and do that over a consistent period of time, repetitively. It's going to cause some knee pain, it's cause some knee issues, okay? And so when you slow it down, see what I just did there? Slowed it down. When you slow it down and allow yourself to pull yourself down into that squat, it allows you to, step number 4, which I wish I knew, is drive the knees outward, okay? Instead of having them come in, you're actively keeping them outward, okay? And there's that tip here that I learned that I wish I knew before. As you come into that squat and you pull down, to keep your knees from bowing in, you're gonna drive your heels together, and that's gonna activate the outside of your legs, keep those knees out. So you're driving the heels in, towards each other, keeps those knees outward. Okay, and as you come down, you drive out. okay? You can only do that if you pull down, actively pull down and power up, pressing the floor away. You can't do that if you're dropping down and trying to drive it up, okay? That you can't do that. That's why the third step was, that I wish I knew, was pulling yourself down, controlled. It's about slow and controlled, not fast and furious, okay? So remember, when you're doing your squat, it's a controlled exercise. It's not a ballistic, it's not a swing, it's not a snatch, a kettlebell snatch. It's not a fast movement, it's slow and controlled, okay? Slow down and then you power it up. Because you have weight and resistance on you, your power up isn't going to be very fast. So it's a power movement. It's not an isolation, because you're focusing on the legs and it's a full body exercise, but it's not a ballistic exercise. It's a grind. That was what we're looking for, the grind. Just like a kettlebell press, it's a grind. You're pulling down and you're powering it up. You're grinding up into that squat. You can only do that when you pull down and you drive your knees out safely, and you pull down and you corkscrew the heels and you drive your knees out. You can only do that when you're focused on control. It's about control, okay? Controlling each rep. And another benefit you're going to gain from that is longer time under tension, longer time underneath the weight. Therefore, your muscles are going to get stronger. They're going to grow. You're going to get better results, and in a safer way. That's important here. Safety. All right. And so all of this wouldn't matter as much if you're breathing. This is the fifth thing right here. If you're breathing and your timing of breathing was not synced up, okay? You couldn't do all this if your breathing wasn't right. That's the fifth thing I wish I knew, was the breathing, how important the breathing is, the power breathing. Not just it's like you're doing bicep curls. No, I'm talking about powerful breathing that allows you to generate as much force and power in each squat from your legs, from your body, from your glutes, so you can get up from that squat, down and up in a safe way, while, this is important, while keeping your abs braced and contracted. Okay, that's important. Remember, that was step one, ab activation. If you're breathing that way, your abs are contracting, relaxing, because your lungs are expanding. So you don't have the room in the space for your abs to stay tight and contract. You can only do that through proper breathing, power breathing. That's why this step is important, okay? So as you're going through the movements, you start with step one, ab activation. You're setting up for a goblet squat, for example. You position your knees, okay? 10 degrees out. And pull yourself down. This is where the breath comes in. So you breathe in, brace your abs, hold, and then on the bottom, this is where you power breathe, like a hiss. Power up. Okay, just like that. Down. Power it up. Meanwhile, my abs are contracting, my glutes, everything's firing because I'm power breathing. You could do it that way as well. Breathe in slow, as long as you can keep your abs braced. But I found the best way is to air in, hold, pull down, power up, and lock it out at the top. So that's the fifth thing, the power breathing. They all go together. If one's missing, your squat's not going to be done well. It's not going to be done as safe as it can be. And you're not going to get the most out of the squat if you don't apply all these 5 together, okay? So these are the 5 things I wish I knew when I was first doing kettlebell squats, goblet squats, front squats, double front squats, kettlebell squats in general, that would have really shortened my learning curve on how to learn to squat, done it safely, protect my knees more, and would also have I would just protect my overall body more, and I would have learned it better and safer. And that's what I'm here. That's why you're watching this video right now, is so you can learn that. Okay, so apply these 5 steps. This is I just shortened the learning curve for you right now. These 5 tips: ab activation, brace, abs and contract it. If you can't keep and contract them by just crunching, once you get on the ground, low plank, and then really drive Ab activation, glutes tight, okay? Get those abs fired before you squat. That's gonna activate your abs, so when you have that weight in here in the front of you, because it's a front squat, you're not gonna fall forward. You're gonna keep your lower back safe. You're gonna keep your chest upright. That's important. And then that's the second one, of course, knee positioning. Take your knees shoulder width apart, slightly pointed out, okay? And then you're gonna, as you have the weight here, you're gonna pull down. So let's pull up the weight here. You're gonna pull down, and then right at the bottom, you're going to corkscrew the heels in to keep those knees out, drive them in towards each other. As you power breathe it up every time. Pull down, pulling down. Control, remember, control movement. Grinding through each rep. Down, power at the top. You finish with the locked out glutes, locked out legs, quads, everything. Okay, that is how you do a proper, safe, and excellent either goblet squat or rack squat, front squat, one arm or two arm. So same thing here on the one arm. You're in position, you pull down, same thing applies. Okay, that same approach. Power breathe, squeeze, feet are the same. The only difference is I have a bowel in this arm, and this arm is acting like it has a bowel in that rack. And there's that. And I can show you real quick. Actually, I'll show you how that same thing applies when you get to, if you're gonna get there, double front squats. The same thing, same positioning, same breath, same setup. These 5 tips are huge. All right, let me show you here. So, get this bell over here. I tend to roll it because, well, it's a ball. Save some energy. So, this same thing applies to the double front squat. Okay, of course you have to know how to clean the bell up and get into position. It's a whole other thing. But once you get there, I'm gonna show you, just wanna show you how the same thing applies to the goblet squat, front squat, one arm and two arm. All right, so as I catch my breath real quick. So remember, these tips are something you definitely wanna stick to, you wanna apply, learn, you're gonna shorten the learning curve. And before I get to this, when my heart rate comes down, before I forget, I have a 10-minute full body kettlebell workout you could start applying your squats to, your swings to, other kettlebell exercises, rows, the foundation exercises of the kettlebell in 10 minutes. That's absolutely free. If you want that, shoot me KB10 right below here in the comments. I'll shoot that over to you. You can always have a 10-minute kettlebell workout in your pocket on your phone with one bell. That's all you need. So I want to get that out there. Before I get into this, let's jump into it. All right, remember, so KB10 if you want that. So, again, same thing applies to the double kettlebell front squat. You just clean it up. Position your feet. See, same thing. Feet are 10 degrees out. I'm still gonna power breathe. Abs are engaged. And I pull myself down. Power up. Just like that. Pull down. Power up. A little bit heavier. So it's important to have the technique down. Again, one more I'll show you here. Pull down, power up. Okay, just like that. And that's the 5 tips. 5 things I wish I knew when I first started learning the kettlebell squat. Now you have them. Now you have them. You can rewatch this video. Apply them. If you run into some issues while you're practicing and doing these, KB coaching on the bottom in the comments. I'd like to help you out. If you need help with those, any tips, things that I can help you with, yeah, shoot it below. And again, KB10, if you want that full workout, you can apply the squat, the swing, different kettlebell exercises 2 and 10 minutes. Shoot that below. Share this with someone that you know wants to learn how to do kettlebell squats, whatever squat it is. And maybe they're having issues, they're not sure where to start. They want some tips, some coaching, share that with them. You can start learning that together, all right? So until then, practice your squat. Apply these 5 very beneficial tips that I was showing you before to your kettlebell squats. You could start doing them safer, properly. You start getting stronger and better at them and staying consistent. That's what it's all about. So thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video. Keep getting after it, train strong, expect success, enjoy the process. And I'll see you here on the next video. Get going.